Should we get rid of the Second Amendment? Is that even possible? Those are just some of the questions people had after a former Supreme Court justice wrote in a New York Times op-ed about repealing your right to own a gun. John Paul Stevens wrote that the March for Our Lives demonstrations and civic engagement in the wake of last month's Parkland school shooting demand our respect. He said, quote, "A constitutional amendment to get rid of the Second Amendment would be simple and would do more to weaken the NRA's ability to stymie legislative debate and block constructive gun control legislation than any other available option."
So you think people are talking about this one online?
I was scared to look.
Oh my gosh, I bet people
yeah.
have to be fired up
about
this.
Oh, of course they are. And look, most people say this is way too far-fetched, and they're saying we're not even asking for this.
Right.
But there were a few who thought that it was a good idea. So let me show you just a little sample of what I saw online. Writer Nick Jack Pappas tweeted, "The Second Amendment says the people have the right to a well-regulated militia. Gun violence in this country proves we aren't well regulated. We don't need to repeal the Second Amendment. We need to understand it." This user joked, "We shouldn't repeal the Second Amendment. Instead, we should preserve the ideals of when it was written by making all gun owners trade in their arms for muskets." But a few supported the idea, like I told Allison. This one said, "Liberals are tripping over themselves to disagree with repeal the Second Amendment. The U.S. has been hijacked by unreasonable entities like the GOP and NRA, supported by even less reasonable voters. And the left counters by being reasonable to a fault doesn't get us anywhere."
Our researchers looked into it and found out it is actually possible to repeal an amendment. Amendments can be proposed in Congress when 2/3 of both houses agree. Now, the states can also play a role in proposing changes. 2/3 of the state legislatures must call conventions to propose amendments either way. 3/4 of the states must ratify or approve them before they become part of the Constitution. Although the Constitution has been formally amended 27 times, an amendment has only been fully repealed just once. That amendment prohibited the sale of alcohol, and we know what happened there.